Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. So today we have the final 53-man roster right before 4 p.m. There are still some players that we might sign or cut, but for now, this is final. I'm going to be talking about any surprises, any players that I thought we should have kept or should have cut. So if you guys are new, subscribe for Washington and NFL content. So let's get right into the video. So we got down to 53 players for now. Like I said, we might put a couple more players on IR if we want to keep them for the rest of the season, but maybe they won't play the first few weeks, so then we can end up signing someone like Mohamed Sanu or other players. But let's get into the moves that we made. So we released the following players: Aaron Colvin, Sean Davis, Nate Orchard, Richard Rodgers. No one there is much of a surprise right there. Sean Davis a little bit, but the rest of those guys all were most likely going to get released. The next couple of guys: Paul Adams, David Bada, Jordan Brailford. I really liked him. I wish he could have had a chance to make this team. He still probably will make the practice squad, so that's good. I think he can be a good defensive end in this league. It's just that our defensive line depth is just too good. And after I go through all this, I'll show you how the roster looks on paper, everything right here. And then we'll talk about some possible players that we could sign. We cut Tony Brown, Joshua Garnett, who was a guy who had the chance to make this roster. Hale Henchers got cut, Jonathan Johnson, Ryan Lewis, Steven Montez, Jared Norris, Timon Paris, Donald Payne, 5th round pick, Ross Pierce-Baker, which I talked about in the video, Trey Quinn, Jeremy Reeves, wide receiver, training camp star, Cam Sims got cut. We'll see if he makes a practice squad, but he always shows out in training camp, but can never translate it to game days. And then David Steinmetz and Jester Way. The Washington football team placed the following players on the reserve/injured list: Ryan B., Reuben Foster, Mike Ledke, Simeon Thomas, and Jordan Veazey. So that means Reuben Foster, his season is over because we did put him on IR before the 4 o'clock deadline. If we would have done it after, then he could have had the chance to come off IR, but now that does mean his season is ended, along with all these other guys, I do believe. But all these guys maybe would make the practice squad, and that's it. Some of these guys that we got cut here are possible practice squad players. We'll talk about that later, but I want to go through some surprises, and one of those surprises is Danny Johnson. Cornerback Danny Johnson did end up making the team. I did not have him making the team, but he did end up making the team along with Greg Stroman. He is very young, and I think he has potential. I thought he was going to make the practice squad, but I guess he did good enough in training camp to make the team. He's had some injuries. He's survived 2 different coaching staffs, so that might be saying something. And I am happy Greg Stroman also made the team. I really like what Greg Stroman can do. I think we did keep 6 cornerbacks. Hopefully Kendall Fuller is healthy because for week 1, because he's been dealing with a nagging injury for the last couple weeks, and who knows if he's going to be able to play for week 1. So that is like the biggest surprise for me. Isaiah Wright also did make the team, which is really, really good news for an undrafted free agent to make a team. I mean, undrafted free agents rarely make teams, not rarely make teams, but usually teams sign like 10, 12 undrafted free agents, and maybe a couple, 2 or 3 make the team. And with an off season like this, where there's no rookie minicamp, there's no OTAs, and a minimal training camp, for him to still make the team means something's really impressive about him. He's going to contribute on special teams, and we'll see how he ends up playing this year, because they really like the kid, and I hope he can do good this year, and we'll see. Expect big things from him, though, at least on special teams. I think he might play gunner. We'll see if he does get some punt return duties. We'll see. Trey Quinn is gone. That's what he did last year, so the punt return and kick return spot goes, like, you can split it between Gibson, Steven Sims and Isaiah Wright. We'll see how that ends up shaking out. Last year, Steven Sims did a lot of kick returning, and at punt returning, it was Trey Quinn until the end of the season when Steven Sims took over that spot. So it's going to be interesting to see, because if Steven Sims ends up playing really well, they might want to protect him a little more, so that could, and same with Gibson. So Isaiah Wright might have a real shot at getting the punt return job at least. So now let's just look at how this looks on paper right here. So like I said, Reuben Foster. Oh yeah, also I wanted to touch on this. Alex Smith is on the 53-man roster, and he will not be placed on IR, at least not initially. So that means that not necessarily that he's ready to take contact and be that backup quarterback, but he is going to start out the season, maybe even active on game day. So that's good news for him. And, it's good news for Dwayne Haskins too, because he's going to be able to show Dwayne Haskins how he prepares for each week. And that's kind of what he did for Patrick Mahomes. And I think that helped Mahomes a lot in his development. So we'll see if that helps out Dwayne Haskins at all. Here, Washington Football just tweeted this out, and this is the roster kind of better visualized. So 3 quarterbacks. You got obviously Haskins, Alex Smith, and Kyle Allen. That's 3 right there. The running backs, as expected after the Adrian Peterson release, those 4 are expected. We got 5 wide receivers for now. 5. But keep in mind, we could sign someone like Mohamed Sanu or Taylor Gabriel. There's other guys on the market that we could sign. Tight end, Logan Thomas, Marcus Baugh, Jeremy Sprinkle. Pretty expected there. Offensive line, you got Keith Ismail, Wes Martin, Wes Schweitzer, David Sharp, who we did just trade, and you guys can read the rest right there. Cornelius Lucas did end up making the cut. And then after that, you have, and these aren't listed for the order, the depth chart. It is just the jersey number. And then you got Alan Payne, Settle Ioannidis, Anderson Sweat, Kerrigan. James Smith-Williams did make the team, so that's good news for him. We'll see how he ends up doing, but I guess they really, really wanted to keep their draft picks, because they kept every single one, even though I think we had 8 draft picks. They kept all of them. Khalil Hudson made it. KPL made it. Sean Dion Hamilton, John Bostic, Cole Holcomb, and Thomas Davis made it. So that is 6 linebackers, and then you got Ryan Anderson as kind of a linebacker slash outside linebacker. And then at cornerback, they kept 6: Jimmy Moreland, Ronald Darby, Fabian Moreau, Kendall Fuller, Danny Johnson, Greg Stroman. And then at safety, pretty expected after the Sean Davis release, you got DeShazier Everett, Landon Collins, Troy Apke, and Cameron Curl. And then at special teams, you got Dustin Hopkins, Tress Sway, and Nick Sundberg. So that is your 53-man roster for now. Keyword for now, because we do have the second position for the waiver wire. So after the Bengals, we get first dibs on anyone that we want. So if there's anyone we want to go after that just got released, we will be able to do it first. There's also other players on the market that we might want to go after, someone like Mohamed Sanu. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next couple of minutes, hours. Literally anything could happen, but that is your 53-man roster. Really, only surprise is Danny Johnson making the team. I think that was pretty surprising for me. And then also, and I also was not surprised, but a little bit surprised that they kept 5 receivers. Still interested to see if they do end up keeping or signing a 6 wide receiver. We'll see about that. That is also going to be interesting, but I do think they're comfortable with the receivers they have, but also would be fine with signing someone else. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think about the 53-man roster. Nothing crazy like I said, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. Turn on those post notifications so you never miss a video, and peace.